I thought I had the perfect middle-class life until my husband emptied our accounts and disappeared, leaving me with 3 kids, a mortgage I can't afford, and credit card debt in my name. I have never worked and has to start from zero, but discover strength I never knew I had. Before we begin, I want to take this moment to thank each one of you for being part of this incredible journey. If you are enjoying these stories of empowerment, consider subscribing. It's completely free and helps us build this amazing community. Let's dive in. I found the note tucked between the sugar bowl and the ceramic rooster. I'd inherited from my grandmother, an oddly domestic place for the end of a marriage, don't you think? Sarah, I can't do this anymore. The accounts are empty. I'm sorry. Don't try to find me. Michael, I read it 3 times before the words truly sank in, my coffee growing cold in my hands as I stood in the sunshine yellow kitchen I'd painted because Michael said it would make the house feel warmer. The irony wasn't lost on me, even then. That yellow had once been a promise. Now it felt like a punchline. Mommy, where's Daddy? His car isn't in the driveway. Emma bounced into the kitchen, 7 years old, with Michael's dark hair and my stubborn chin, wearing mismatched socks and a pink dress that clung to her growing frame. I looked at my daughter, so trusting, so unaware that her world had just shifted on its axis. He had to go away for work, sweetie. The lie came instinctively. A mother's impulse to protect kicks in before your brain has time to comprehend the collapse around you. The twins tumbled in next. Jake and Lily, both 4, already squabbling over the last of the Lucky Charms. Jake had cereal dust on his shirt, and Lily had a sticker on her forehead. I moved through our morning routine on autopilot. Breakfast, packed lunches, zipped backpacks, shoelaces, the familiar scramble of school mornings. It wasn't until the front door clicked shut behind them and silence settled over the house that the weight of it hit me. I sank into the chair at the kitchen table. Our kitchen table, the one where I'd fed my babies their first solids, where Jake had once spelled his name in spilled applesauce, and stared at Michael's note again. 28 years old. 7 years of motherhood. And not a clue how to fix the disaster that had just landed in my lap. The checking account, $47.23. The savings, empty. The credit cards, maxed out. $12,000, $8,000, $15,000. The mortgage, 2 months behind. Utilities overdue. The minivan, past due. Michael had handled everything. I thought it was teamwork. He thought it was control. The cell phone, voicemail full, his office. He quit 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks of lies. 3 weeks of eating dinner with a man who'd already left us, just hadn't packed his bags yet. That week blurred into endless phone calls, to creditors, lawyers, banks. Conversations filled with acronyms and threats, and cold reminders that being a stay-at-home mom didn't count as experience. My degree in English literature? Worth less than the paper the diploma was printed on. Mommy, why are you crying? Lily climbed into my lap one evening as I sat surrounded by bills and job applications on the living room floor. Sometimes grown-ups cry when they're worried, baby. But it's going to be okay. Another lie. But what else could I say? That Daddy had vanished with all our money? That the house was slipping through our fingers? That I was barely holding myself together? I bombed my first interview. The borrowed suit from my sister Rebecca was too big. The receptionist job required computer skills I didn't have. The manager smiled sympathetically. We're looking for someone with more experience. Everywhere I turned, doors closed. Retail jobs demanded open availability, impossible with 3 kids. Fast food wouldn't hire me. I'd been out of the workforce too long. Even temp agencies turned me away. Bills kept coming. The lights were shut off for 2 days. I sold my wedding ring, then the dining table, then the TV. Why don't we have a table anymore? Emma asked as we ate dinner on the couch. We needed the space, I lied. Again. 6 weeks after Michael vanished, I got a job. Night shift at an insurance call center. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Minimum wage. It wouldn't cover everything, But it was something. Rebecca watched the kids, but she had her own family. Her husband wasn't thrilled. "I can't do this forever," she said. I believed her. One night I tried leaving Emma in charge. She was 7, too young, but I was desperate. When I came home, Jake had been crying for hours, and Lily had wet the bed trying to clean it up herself. "I tried to take care of them," Emma whispered, eyes heavy with guilt. I held them all close. "That's not your job, baby. That's mine." But I was failing at that job. Then the eviction notice came. 30 days to leave. The house, our home, was going into foreclosure. I called every apartment complex. Most required deposits I couldn't afford. The rest were unsafe or had year-long waiting lists. "What about your parents?" Rebecca asked. My parents had disapproved of Michael from the start. Our last conversation ended with, "You made your bed, Sarah." I didn't bother calling again. I applied for emergency assistance. The county office smelled of despair. Mrs. Rodriguez, the caseworker, was kind but blunt. "Emergency housing has a 3-month wait. Food stamps we can process now. There's a family shelter, but only for 30 days. The shelter was a converted school building. Green walls, communal bathrooms, bunk beds, lights out at 10, breakfast at 7. "It's like camping," I told the kids. None of them bought it, especially Emma. She knew this wasn't normal. Carmen was the one bright spot. Another mother, from Honduras. 2 kids, 2 jobs. Engineering degree that didn't count here. "You have to fight," she said one night. "Nobody coming to save us. We save ourselves." She was saving every penny. Her plan: rent a 3-bedroom and share it with other single moms. "You want to come with us?" is not easy, but is possible. I looked at my children. The answer was yes. We moved into a small apartment. Nothing fancy, but safe. Carmen worked nights. I worked days. We swapped childcare, shared groceries, shared hope. I got a new job, file clerk at an insurance office, low pay, but steady, possibility of promotion. I took night classes at the community college, business administration. Carmen studied for her certification exams. Emma started smiling again. Jake learned to read. Lily made best friends with Carmen's daughter, Maria. We bought a table off Facebook Marketplace, wobbly legs, but it held our lives together. One night, Emma and I sat doing homework at that table. "You know," I said, "sometimes when life falls apart, you get to rebuild it better." "Like when Jake knocks over my blocks," she said, "and I build a castle instead." Exactly like that. 6 months later, I was promoted. 6 more, I was managing accounts. I rebuilt my credit, opened my own bank account, filed taxes, balanced a checkbook. Pumping my gas became a symbol of independence. Michael never resurfaced, never contacted the kids. The court granted me full custody and finalized the divorce by default. I didn't want the house back. That yellow kitchen belonged to a different woman. 18 months after the note, I moved into my own apartment. My name on the lease. 3 bedrooms. Modest, but ours. Emma had her own room. The twins shared. And I had a little corner that was mine alone. "Do you miss Daddy?" Emma asked one night. I paused. Did I? Or did I miss the illusion of safety? "I miss the family I thought we were," I said. "But I love the family we are now." Emma nodded. "We're stronger now, like your blocks." 2 years later, I managed the entire insurance office. I was taking online classes toward my bachelor's. The kids were thriving. Emma joined chess club. Jake took piano. Lily started writing stories. I still worried. Still stretched every dollar. Still woke at night panicked about the future. But I had learned something. I was capable. One night, Emma brought home a school assignment. "We're writing about heroes. I'm writing about you. Is that okay?" I smiled, surprised. "Why me?" "Because when everything broke, you fixed it. You saved us." After they were asleep, I sat in our little living room and thought about heroes. I thought about the woman I used to be, the one who let someone else hold the map. And I thought about the woman I'd become, the one who learned to build a compass from scratch. Michael's note was meant to end me. Instead, it became the first page of my new story. I'm not the same woman who painted her kitchen yellow to make her husband happy. I paint rooms whatever color I want. I choose, I decide, I building. And that, I've learned, is the best kind of hero story there is. As I sat there, a sense of peace washed over me. I realized that I had finally found my footing, my purpose. I was no longer just a mother, a wife, or a victim. I was a woman, strong and resilient, with a story to tell and a future to build. The kids and I had been through hell and back, but we had made it. We had found a new normal, a new sense of home. And as I looked around our small apartment, I knew that this was just the beginning. We would face challenges, yes, but we would face them together as a family. And I thought about the journey that had brought us here, the struggles, the hardships, the moments of doubt and fear, but also the moments of joy, of laughter, of love. I thought about the people who had helped us along the way, who had supported us and believed in us. Carmen, Rebecca, Mrs. Rodriguez, they had all played a part in our story. As I sat there, I felt a sense of gratitude wash over me. Gratitude for the journey, for the lessons learned, for the strength and resilience that had been forged in the fire of adversity. I knew that I would carry these lessons with me for the rest of my life, and that they would shape me into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate person. I looked at the clock and realized that it was getting late. I needed to get some rest, to prepare for another busy day ahead. But as I stood up to go to bed, I felt a sense of peace and contentment that I hadn't felt in a long time. I knew that tomorrow would bring its own set of challenges, but I was ready. I was ready to face them head on, to tackle them with courage and determination. I was ready to build a better life for myself and my children, a life that was filled with love, laughter, and purpose. As I drifted off to sleep, I smiled to myself. I knew that I had found my way, and that I would always be able to find my way, no matter what challenges lay ahead. I was a survivor, a warrior, a mother, and I was proud of who I had become. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed and renewed. I got the kids ready for school, made them breakfast, and sent them off with a smile. As I watched them walk out the door, I felt a sense of pride and hope. I knew that they would face challenges in their own lives, but I also knew that they would be strong enough to overcome them. I went to work that day with a sense of purpose and determination. I tackled my tasks with confidence and enthusiasm, knowing that I was building a better future for myself and my children. And as I looked around at my colleagues, I felt a sense of camaraderie and connection. We were all in this together, working towards a common goal. As the day drew to a close, I reflected on all that I had accomplished. I had taken another step towards building a better life, a life that was filled with purpose and meaning. And I knew that I would continue to build, to grow, and to thrive, no matter what challenges lay ahead. I went home that evening, tired but fulfilled. The kids were happy and healthy, and they had done well in school. We had dinner together, and then we spent the evening playing games and laughing together. It was a simple, quiet night, but it was one that I would treasure forever. As I tucked the kids into bed that night, I felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over me. I knew that I had found my way, and that I would always be able to find my way, no matter what challenges lay ahead. I was a mother, a worker, a survivor, and I was proud of who I had become. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. I continued to work hard, to build a better life for myself and my children. And slowly but surely, things began to fall into place. The kids thrived in school, and I excelled in my job. We moved into a bigger apartment, one that was filled with love and laughter. I looked back on the journey that had brought us here, and I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I had faced my fears, and I had overcome them. I had built a better life, a life that was filled with purpose and meaning, and I knew that I would always be able to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that I was strong enough to overcome them. Years went by, and the kids grew up. They became confident, capable young adults with their own dreams and aspirations. And I was proud of them, proud of the people they had become. I knew that I had done my job as a mother, and that I had given them the tools they needed to succeed in life. As I looked at them, I felt a sense of nostalgia wash over me. I remembered the struggles we had faced, the hardships we had overcome, and I knew that those struggles had made us stronger, had made us the people we were today. I smiled to myself, knowing that I had found my way. I had found my purpose, my meaning, and I knew that I would always be able to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that I was strong enough to overcome them. And so, I closed the chapter on that part of my life, knowing that a new one was beginning. A new chapter, filled with new challenges, new opportunities, and new joys. I was ready for whatever came next, knowing that I had the strength and resilience to face it head-on. As I looked to the future, I knew that I would always carry the lessons of my past with me. The struggles, the hardships, the moments of doubt and fear, they had all shaped me into the person I was today. And I was grateful for that. I thought about the people who had helped me along the way, who had supported me and believed in me. Carmen, Rebecca, Mrs. Rodriguez. They had all played a part in my story. And I knew that I would always be grateful for their kindness and compassion. As I looked at my children, I knew that they would always be my greatest joy. They had grown into strong, capable young adults with their own dreams and aspirations. And I was proud of them, proud of the people they had become. I knew that I had done my job as a mother, and that I had given them the tools they needed to succeed in life. And as I watched them spread their wings and fly, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I had faced my fears, and I had overcome them. I had built a better life, a life that was filled with purpose and meaning, and I knew that I would always be able to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that I was strong enough to overcome them. And so, I closed the chapter on that part of my life, knowing that a new one was beginning, a new chapter, filled with new possibilities and opportunities. I was ready for whatever came next, knowing that I had the strength and resilience to face it head-on. The future was bright, and I was excited to see what it held. I knew that there would be ups and downs, twists and turns, but I was ready. I was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that I had the courage and determination to overcome any obstacle. And as I looked to the future, I smiled to myself. I knew that I would always be able to find my way, no matter what challenges lay ahead. I was a survivor, a warrior, a mother, and I was proud of who I had become. Years later, I sat on my porch, surrounded by the people and things I loved. My children were grown, with children of their own, and I was a grandmother, a role that brought me great joy and satisfaction. I thought back on the journey that had brought me to this place, and I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. I had faced my fears, and I had overcome them. I had built a better life, a life that was filled with purpose and meaning. And as I looked out at the world around me, I knew that I had made a difference. I had made a difference in the lives of my children, and in the lives of those around me, and that was all that mattered. I smiled to myself, knowing that I had lived a good life, a life filled with love, laughter, and purpose, and I knew that I would always be grateful for the journey that had brought me to this place.